very much.
With Appalachicola on my mind, I've come to Washington, D.C. to grab a coffee with recently retired Environmental Protection Agency veteran Mike Cox.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In all your travels, does it come up, the conversation, climate change?
All the time. Every single place where the land meets the water, I hear the same thing. The fish are swimming somewhere else because of temperature. Our yields on our crops are lower. When you keep going on and on and on, where entire industries are having to shut down, or it's becoming too expensive to do business.
So why the hell aren't we doing anything?
Well, that was my question for you.
Oh, thank you. A good friend of mine's called it the threat that's too big to talk about. And she's right.
Mike spent 25 years at the EPA, the last 6 working on climate change in the Pacific Northwest.
We as a nation do better than anyone in the world.
In 2017, President Trump appointed Scott Pruitt to run the department. As Oklahoma Attorney General, Pruitt had sued the EPA 13 times.
Do you believe that it's been proven that CO2 is the primary control knob for climate? Do you believe that?
No, I think that measuring with precision human activity on the climate is something very challenging to do, and there's tremendous disagreement about the degree of impact.
There was a takeover, in my mind, by people that had the interest of dismantling EPA, and they continue to do that.
The way the current administration is handling climate change policy, in many cases, is contradicted by the actual science.
We've all heard the number. 97% of climate scientists agree that climate change is happening and humans are the primary cause.
Having worked with scientists and supervised scientists, to get a group of scientists to agree, that is almost an impossible thing to do.
The federal government isn't even willing to admit there's a problem. It makes no sense to me.
What makes no sense, and what bothers me about it is that there are a lot of valid scientific questions that we need to put research and work on climate, no doubt. But when we can't even get past that initial stage, I would call it criminal.
Administrator Pruitt resigned in July 2018, but that hasn't stopped what environmentalists see as the Trump administration's assault on environmental regulation.
President Trump got up and talked about all the environmental great things they're doing.
Yes.
And, one after another.
From day one, my administration has made it a top priority to ensure that America is among the very cleanest air and cleanest water on the planet.
Since taking office, the Trump administration has rolled back or eliminated more than 95 rules that were protecting the environment. More than half of those directly impact the fight against climate change. To sell this to the public, the White House hired William Happer, a prominent climate change skeptic.
Tell me about William Happer.
William Happer is a distinguished physics professor at Princeton.
Smart physicist.
Smart physicist.
Works at a great university.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody disputes that. I say he's got out of his lane a little bit.
Happer joined the National Security Council in 2018 to re-examine climate change.
Or CO2 is clearly a benefit for planets.
His main claim is carbon dioxide is good for the Earth. We're actually in a carbon deficit, which is just ludicrous. What he does cite a lot is agriculture. And he's right that in some cases, the yields may go up. But there has to be water to make that happen. And that's, as you know, a huge issue on climate because of the changing patterns of precipitation. If there's not the water, all those great carbon fertilization is not going to help. So they keep using that one little piece of information to go, see.
William Happer's Princeton credentials gave the administration's pro-fossil fuel policies a boost in credibility, in spite of statements like this.
The demonization of carbon dioxide is just like the demonization of the poor Jews under Hitler. Carbon dioxide is actually a benefit to the world, and so were the Jews. I think that people have grossly overestimated the ability of CO2 itself to cause warming.
Welcome to the largest vertical farm in the world.
Wow.
You really feel like you're in the presence of greatness.